Hi. Everybody listen? Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah. First of all, I feel so sorry about my English. It's not, I think, very good, but I will try to make me understand. Yeah, indeed. I work for Fanatic. Fanatic is the National Competency Center for Open Source Software. So it's a public organization. It belongs to the Ministry of Industry. It's very important because it can tell you that we are somehow related to industries, related to the ICT sector. We are not very much related to the ministry in charge of the public administration staff. Somehow we work also for them, but we are very focused on the ICT sector. Or we are supposed to be working with them. That's why I'm here. That's why I really love to say thanks to Zentyal. Zentyal is one of the most important Spanish companies related to open source. It's an example for all of us, even for Fanatic. The way they work as in the community, the quality of the product, yes, I say product, they have a product, yes, it's very important. And so I'm quite happy to be there. And of course, it's an honor to be participating with you on these conferences. Nacho told me that maybe it would be a nice point of view of if I can share with you the ups and downs of the open source history, the open source wave. Somehow he gave me the idea of conducting this presentation related to the wave thing. I mean, yes, how do you ride waves? Maybe, I don't know if you are surfer boys or not, but I'm absolutely sure that you've seen a lot of films. In order to ride a wave, you need three things, mainly three things. The first thing is you, because you ride the wave. Second thing, of course, is a wave. And the third thing is the tool you need to ride the wave, the board. That lessons learned by a dry guy from the inner Spain. So I live in Extremadura. I have no sea at all, of course, but you know, thanks we have the television, and so I know how to surf. And as I said, you need three things: you, a wave, and a board. Also, hopefully, it will be very nice if you have a stunning landscape, a pretty hallmark when you can do your surf with music sounding, with beautiful girls and boys, very ripped, and you know, drinking some alcohol or whatever, and you are really having a lot of fun doing that. So let's start with the open source wave. Thinking, of course, in what I said before, you need three things for riding a wave. The open source wave, from my humble point of view, started in Spain more or less 12 years ago with the advent of the Linux distribution. Maybe some of you remember how Spain was spotted in the Washington Post regarding the open source as the David versus Goliath thing, when, as you may see in the presentation, you know, the Washington Post spotted the Linux project we have in Extremadura. It was 12 years ago. That's when, I think the most important public open source wave started in Spain. Thank you again to Linux. That's why I say here. So big ups and downs, ups for Linux. It was the real starting point. So please come on. Just applause to Linux. Make some noise. Come on, you're alive. To Linux. Thank you. Okay. Big up for Linux. But we're going to dig a little more in, not exactly just in Linux. Let's dig a little more in, hi Nacho, you're late. In the regional projects, in the ups and downs of the regional projects we had, especially projects that were in the old good days, as I say in the presentation, related to a strategy that it was close together, that a kind of regional Linux distribution somehow. So thinking in mind again the wave. Why the regional projects? Which was the wave that the regional projects were pushing? It was a wave that was made of certain things, certain receipts, and those receipts was they trying to reduce the digital divide. Was one of the main drivers to release a regional project from open source. They also wanted to be absolutely independent from Microsoft. Microsoft was the bad guy, sorry, and the terror and whatever. Not just, but very very close and very centered into Microsoft. Not Oracle, not Apple, just Microsoft. There also was a component of freedom. Was very important to the word freedom. Maybe not exactly know exactly which it means, but they have freedom in mind. And the target was the whole society. They wanted to change the society with the regional projects. Was very also one of the receipts they have was plenty of politics and politicians. Those guys were where they were pushing the wave and shaping the wave we have. And last, maybe I think that was a kind of Europe technology against American technology. I don't know if you have North American here, but all the time you say, let's fight with American, we use our technology. Well, that's the wave I view from 12 years ago. That's the wave we are trying to ride. The board, which was our tool? Well, maybe with the Linux, it was for Extremadura, the tool indeed was the board, the Linux distribution. It was Debian plus Genome. They have also, as a board for Surf, the wave, they have a very nice human resources staff, internally and externally, companies, and so on. Very good internal technical skills. And the big tool, they have the budget, a huge budget to do that. To do what? Hiring people, building. When I mean building, I said building buildings, codes, programs, and so on, but also buildings and promotion. Huge amount of money in promotion. To say, as you may see in the first page, the Washington Post thing. It was also a promotion of that. Very expensive one too. I don't know if anybody noticed the genome food on the on the surfboard. Well, it's just coincidences. So this is the board mainly that the regional projects had in the past for surfing the wave of open source. And we have a very nice hallmark there. We had ISPA Linux. You will absolutely agree with me. It was a very nice community. There was a huge amount of political engagement. We had the Washington Post over there in the Americas. The whole society, especially in Extremadura, was absolutely, excited about the idea of being free, of have a proper operating system, to have the digital divide and so on. And very especially, we had a spectating ICT sector. You have to take into mind that in Spain, there's a lot of SMEs companies that they are, especially in the IT side of the economy, they really depends a lot on the public administrations. So every movement in IT that the public administrations made is completely seen as an opportunity for the ICT sector. So that was the hallmark we have. But there is something missing. Do you remember we have in the first page of the presentation, we have you, the wave, and the board. Where's the you? Where is the you? That is the main problem we have in the past with the regional projects. There is no you. Nobody knows very well where to go. There was no really a governance around that. You cannot be the wave. If you're a politician and you are part of the wave, you cannot be riding the wave. If the Linux is part of the board cannot be part of the you. So maybe if you are not part of the solution, as they say, maybe you are part of the problem. So that was the big down of the old, not very old, maybe till 2005, regional projects related to the distributions. But, well, you know, they were pioneers. So they were the first guys to do that. And do you know, there's a kind of American joke, I don't know how to be American, Spanish, and then back to English translated, how to say it, but do you know how to recognize a pioneer? Anybody? No? Malcolm? You know? The pioneers are the guys that have punched the arrows of the Indians on the ass. I don't know you. So they are the first guys to get into the thing, try to solve anything, whatever thing, but you know, they don't have a real plan. Just they want to do something about that. So they were pioneers. So, you know, never be a pioneer in anything, please. Just wait, like the guys from Andalusia, see what the guys from Extremadura then and say, well, let's move to Guadalines because, well, this thing is not useful. Okay. And very important, don't fork your IT every time. Those distributions were just fork of the Debian, of the whatever thing. So they have to maintain by themselves the whole distribution. You know, well, maybe if you have a full budget, bags of money, but not today. It's very difficult to do that. So that really impacts on the sustainability of the solution. You need permanent IT trained staff. You have a very high OPEX. And this today in the public administration, well, it's not, you do not have really a budget. So, and of course, you know, public administration are not very keen of be measured. They don't have really metrics. So, well, it's very difficult to know where you are. As I mentioned, you don't have the U side of the equation. So you have a very weak community and governance framework. And of course, you have a very weak community back for your project. There is no community support. So again, you have to support all your clients, whoever they are. The worst thing for me is, I think it's too much weight in the political requirement versus technical requirements. You have too many politicians saying to you what to do because they have their own plans for whatever, but you don't have really technical requirements. Even better, even worse, I think, I said, maybe you are reading some code or making some distributions for maybe citizenship, SMEs, education, health, whatever, not taking into account the requirements of those guys. Because maybe you have no connection, no hierarchy connection with the CIO of the regional government. Wait, see, I said CIO, but maybe I should have said CSIOS. Too many CIOs. There is no single, well, today maybe we are changing this thing, but 10 years before, there was one CIO for every single department in the regional administrations, also in the ministries too. So it's impossible to have a strategy on that. And of course, if the open source strategy of your region are not taking into account those requirements for those guys, for whom are you building your software? So you have a very low impact in the ICT sector because the guys who have the budget to buy services, the CIOs, they really don't care about your solution. So the ICT sector won't sell anything. So you won't get attraction to the software you're building for your open source strategy. And that's the worst thing. I think you won't get a private support for your software. And again, you will have to support by yourself, increasing the budget year by year. So more or less can be resumed something like that. If your strategy in the as a region is a distro, you don't have a budget, that's it. Okay, you don't have a strategy, of course, at all. Okay, that's the way. So what I'm trying to explain later in the, well, I think I have 15 minutes or so. We're changing how are we helping change all this stuff and how this stuff is changing again. Today, the regional projects. We have Eduardo here. Welcome to Eduardo. They see distributions and the operating systems and the project for migration not an end. It's not an end to have a own distribution. It's not an end to have an AZ Linux. It's not an end to have a Linux in Extremadura. It's not an end to have geckos in Andalusia or whatever. You are searching for something else, not the end. Those distributions are not really so important. Because you have Debian, you have Canonical, you have, well, whatever distribution over there. So it's very easy for you to just not to get some logos and say, okay, this is Linux. No, maybe you have Debian and it's okay, or not. Maybe you want to promote your personal brand as a region and say, okay, this is Debian plus GNOME plus certain sort of projects. Let's put Linux on the top, but it's Debian. It is not forked. It's Debian. Pointing to their own repositories, in Debian's repositories, not in the Junta de Extremadura repositories. And very important, today they are focused. They are not general purpose projects. They are focused on education because they want to lower the cost of the education for the children. Sorry, they want to reach more and more desktops. They want to reach more and more PCs. They want to reach more and more schools. But that's the way. That's why they use. That was free operating systems. Government, they want to lower the cost and they want to be absolutely independent from the vendor. That's the main reason why they are going to regional projects today in the open source. And the end user, well, if you are a regional government, and you plan to like Extremadura, to release a new version of Linux, it's because you want to reduce the digital divide. That's your discourse, but well, it's okay, right? It's in your portfolio. Those projects today are more sustainable because they are not forking the originals. Okay? They are working inside and with the community. They have learned 10 years how to do that. I think it's quite difficult to work with certain communities, but you have to learn. You can't always fork, build yourself, and forget about it. No, you have to work in cooperation with the communities. That's why Zentyal is so amazing, building such community. And those systems today really works. They're fully compatible with the hardware. Don't talk about Wi-Fi, please, today. But they works. The software they works and interoperate very well different private systems that are put in place, and they will be there for a long, long time. And the last I think is very important. Those projects today are governed. They belong to a CIO. They belong to a kind of a strategy. So it's managed. It belongs to a corporate IT strategy. It's very important. So they have budget, they have visibility, and they belong to a strategy, whatever it is. So I think things are performing very well. We have 3 or 4 examples. The example in Galicia with the Avalar project, I think you know it, is especially focused for education. They are reporting savings up to 2.5 million euros in 3 years, replacing the old operating systems and bringing some new machines with a Linux for the schools. Also, the community of Valencia with the Urex, also for education, they are reporting today 1.5 million per year in savings also for education. Or Extremadura, as with a new version of Linux, it's kind of, as I said before, it's Debian. It's a project designed especially for the entrepreneurs, for the SMEs, and so on. Okay, so I think today things are performing really much better, of course, than 12 years ago or 10 years ago. Well, let's talk about another part of your board in order to ride the wave. And I think it's really has been a very huge game changer today in the open source arena in Spain. It's called the regulation. We have a lot of regulation about open source. So It started as a hallmark, right? It's a framework for setting up your policy and so on. But today belongs really, it's a tool you can use for your project. You can really lay your strategy into the regulation, because this thing is nice. It's nice. We have 3 main laws we have in Spain. It's called the Law of Information Society Impulse. We have the electronics access to service, so electronic access to public services, sorry, and the interoperability framework. Those laws really is, I think, help a lot to the open source and has been really a game changer. So big up for regulators, please. It's very nice. No, just kidding. You know, I have the, just kidding. No, sorry, no. They miss it, something. You know, when you work for the public administration, as I do, and I written the first versions of the interoperability decree, when I saw the final version, I say, oh my, yeah. It took, I think, 2 years by reviewing this text, and not reviewing this text in the open source community. That was reviewed by the, you know, the strong, old ICT sector in Spain, the huge players, and the lobbyists, maybe, just as a resume. So this regulation that you may know, it can, well, I have a Linux, I can access to that web page because it's written .NET, and I have a, well, really, it doesn't, it isn't covered by the law, really. So there is no enforcement. Nobody obliges you to do that in the law. They remove a lot of things about reuse of components and so on. So it's, you know, it's very, and you don't have nowhere to go. I was yesterday talking about one guy of the Asolith Federation companies, and said, well, Manuel, I've been trying to access to the Ministry of Industry page where I can, I need to claim for a certain wage for me or budget or whatever, and it's written in .NET, and I can access to that because I'm using Linux. What can I do? Say, well, just can I go with a lawyer or whatever? Say, well, yeah, you can go, but nowhere will listen, because, you know, the law is, well, it's very nice. It's like the sunny as a paint before, but really, it not helps you a lot, but it pushes the development of open source anyway. So, it's anyway, I think it's a game changer, but well, it should be, I think, harder than we have today. And yeah, I'm going to talk to me about just 1 minute. I think Fanatic is also a game changer in Spain here. Started Fanatic in 2006, but was started as any political project, as a dissemination of politics. So I think Fanatic was not say useless till, but yeah, we have a nice budget. You know me very well. You know, I'm very clear talking about. We have budget for build a building. Do you know if you understand me? We have a very nice building, in Extremadura. It's nice. I think it's very ugly anyway. But you know, it's huge building. We are in Fanatic. We are 12 today. So in this corner is where all the team, more or less like something like that, is. The rest of the building is nice but empty. Anyway, so let's go back. So was created with a strong political decision. Extremadura, Linux, whatever we saw what really was, and close the Big Bang in Extremadura. But we have maybe you know, we have we're going to be integrated. Don't know exactly which means yes yet. We don't know really. Integrated in red.es. That is the main public company belonging to the Ministry of Industry, in charge of promoting the information society, especially in the SMEs sector. They have a nice budget to do that, and Fanatic will be integrated there. We don't know if we will be moved to Madrid or not. I think nobody knows it yet, but yeah, it's in the very near term. So we have to take it into account. All of you, if you want to do things with Fanatic, you have to take it into account. Well, as I said, Fanatic started as a dissemination organization, but today, what we are doing is helping public administrations to create open source communities, as maybe of you may know. We discover some certain methodologies and spotting best practice thanks to our observatory. We create communities around public software involving legal things, legal affairs, governance, technical skills, also marketing and commerce of this solution, and public and private cooperation. We're trying to define policies and metrics for your open source project. We help you disseminate, as we are doing today. And recently, we're piloting what the ministry called technology champion projects. We'll see in, I think we have 5 minutes, or cutting, yeah? 2 minutes, okay? Right. I will talk about just 2 minutes to exactly what we're doing. When I said we create communities around public software, when I go to the ministry of whatever, the defense, taxes, industry, say, hey, why don't you release your software? That's exactly what I get in front. It's like, yeah, no, you're kidding, no, it's my software. So I always say to them, no, your software no, because your software is made by open source and you don't know it. So you can scan it, whatever you want, Malcolm is here, and maybe 80% of your software is already open source being reused by your ICT provider. So let's work with it. So we have set up some very nice communities. I encourage you to participate. It's called SIGEM, Arroba Firma, Urbanismo en Red. We have 44 communities today. So I think it's a very nice step forward for the public administration to publish the software as open source. Why? To be maintained by others, to share among others, and to help companies to take this software, put it into the own portfolio, and sell it abroad as the Spanish technology. So I think it's nice, and we have to wait to see. So that's it. I have 2 more slides, but really not important at all. Okay. Thank you very much. Questions or maybe?
Yeah, we have time for maybe 1, maybe 2 questions, depend how long they are. So please, yes, Nacho.
Vaya por Dios.
So what do you think is the balance of open source policies in Spain for the last 10, 12 years? Is it positive, is it negative? Has Spain wasted more time than the benefits received, or the way around?
I think Spain has wasted more time.
Manuel,
sorry.
please repeat the question.
Okay,
for
yeah.
for
Nacho
our
said is what is the balance between the good thing and the bad thing done by the public administration? Where we should put the balance? If the has been good or waste of time or I think that the nice question. I will get wet. Yeah, I think the balance is not very much positive. I think we have missed a lot of opportunity. We have missed a lot of budgeting options. We are a bit late. We have missed, I think, 5 or 6 years, maybe. That's my point of view. Maybe I will be fired today, but
we will not tell anyone. Okay, thank you, Manuel.
Thank you very much
as usual. Thank you very much.